And he has that race yesterday, and that we saw that closed in, what, 53 seconds or whatever. He's worked so hard to have that kind of closure. And he was praying that the pace would probably be very, a little slower than normal, which it was. And he had done something that's only happened 3 times in American history in the Olympics for 10,000. He got a medal. He got a medal, as you may have watched the race. And his running partner got the gold, the British citizen. They're just like best friends. And you almost think that maybe coming down that home stretch, Galen would say, this is my buddy. He's my buddy. You hope not, but I think, you know what, maybe a little. That he knows who he is, and look at this, I'm just shocked. We're going to go 1-2, this is great. And that's the case. But he did get the silver medal. And he's still got another 5,000 ahead of him. So 3 guys, he's the third. It's a great story. But I think, to some extent, there's been so many Americans that are so hungry for medals. And we'll go back to the distance races, the 5,000 and 10,000 for men. And Pre was going to get a medal in 1976 in Montreal. And of course he was killed a year earlier and never had that day. And I think there's that, well, when is it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And we got it yesterday. And I know that I got a call from a reporter from the Oregonian newspaper in Portland saying, what do you think? And I told him that. I think Americans we've been waiting. And Pre's been waiting. And we broke the ice. And I think we're going to, and you look at the women in the 10,000, no medal, all 3 PRs. All 3 PRs. Our women in the marathon today, they ran well. No medals, but America is really on a roll right now, and I think it's scary. It's scary cool. And a lot of it has to do with high school coaches and the culture of, I think we're pushing the bar a little bit. We're back to that pushing the bar again. And I think Galen and others are making, these are becoming idols to kids. I know some of you probably were screaming at the TV set yesterday, and I got emails from my athletes at Gonzaga who said, I was screaming at the TV yesterday. That's good. It's really good. There's so many stories to talk about, but I did want to emphasize again relationships. I just know that is really the most important thing. The most important thing we're doing is trying to make people better people. And those inductees, I mean, I know that's what you're all about. I mean, I heard the stories. I love the quote by Jack London, and some of you who had the book Pre, there's a book called Pre, a little paperback by Tommy Jordan, who says, I would rather be ashes than dust. I would rather that spark should burn out in a brilliant blaze than it should be still by dry rot. I would rather be a superb meteor, every atom of me in magnificent glow, than a sleepy and permanent planet. The proper function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days trying to prolong them. I will use my time. As Prefontaine would say, and you've heard this quote before, many of you, to do anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. I mean, that's a message from now till we pass on. It's not just, I was telling kids today at the clinic, we must always think we can fly, no matter what age, that we are Peter Pan. Now, as older runners, or whatever we are, and whatever we do, we're a little slower than, maybe we can't fly as far, like Michael Jordan would do when he would fly up to get that, when he'd do his lay-ins or whatever. But we can still think, we got to think we can fly. I think that's the passion in coaching and passion in being a parent that we don't want to lose. I'm going to close there's so many stories, but I'm going to close with this one. One of my best friends passed away in January. His name is Jeff Hollister. Jeff Hollister, some of you know that name. A lot of you don't, but Jeff Hollister was the coolest guy. Jeff was a Eugene guy. He grew up in Eugene, went to South Eugene High School, a legendary school there. He went to Hayward Field and watched track meets as a kid. He watched Bowerman and all those youngins do what they did, and track became his life. He would eventually become employee number 3 for Nike. And he opened up the very first Nike store down on Olive Street in Eugene. It was called Blue Ribbon Sports. And anyway, he was the original, he was the guy that, he did so much for our sport. And when he passed away in January, they ended up stalling to have his memorial, and they gave his memorial in April on the Nike campus in the Tiger Woods building. Over 3,000 people showed up. It was very moving. It was just incredible. But he has a book also, and his book is called Out of Nowhere. Out of Nowhere. And this was one of the passages from that book that is so timely and perfect for tonight, and for our honorees, and for all of us. The future will never remember what was in your bank account, or what kind of car you drove. The future will remember that wild ride of life, where you believed in others and left a gift behind for someone else to dream the impossible. The gift was your own life. It does not matter whether it was long or short. What did you leave behind? Jeff Hollister, Out of Nowhere. Thank you again for inviting me to Cincinnati, and I really feel at home here. If I didn't like where I lived, this could be a great place for me to move. Chris Mack, he came out here from Stanford, and we're tight, and yeah, we love him. And he came out here and he loves Cincy, and thank you guys for making me feel welcome. And gosh, just continue to do great things, and let's keep this Hall of Fame thing rolling. You got so many legends in this town, and thank you. Thank Gold Medal Mary. Appreciate you too. And I'm going to close. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Tyson. That was an incredible way to end the evening. This brings to an end the Hall of Fame ceremonies. Mark it on your calendar for next year. If you were part of the ceremonies, you need to come back so you can stand up at the beginning and be acknowledged. If you're just a track fan, you don't want to miss it. Coaches, high school coaches, bring your assistants next year. The young guys who are going to make a difference in the kids' lives, make them come to this. This is where the inspiration happens. This is just so neat. This is the transfusion to keep the track body going. So everybody, thank you for coming. Steve, thanks for organizing everything, and have a safe ride home, and watch those Olympics tonight.
Let's get it.